Hello guys, welcome to another video of Azure DevOps. In this video, we are going to discuss how we can integrate GitHub with Azure DevOps, how we can use GitHub code to build CI/CD pipelines in Azure DevOps, and basically how we can commit or keep our code in GitHub and build the code and deploy that code using Azure pipelines. Okay, we'll also see how we can do other steps or other things like creating GitHub releases from Azure pipelines or adding comments in the GitHub pull request or issues from Azure pipeline itself. Okay, so this is my GitHub project or GitHub account. You can say if you don't have any GitHub account, you can go and create a new account in GitHub. For that, you can always go to GitHub and you can create a new account. Okay, open this link, and from here you can create the new account. So we have this account created already, and I have my repository where I have some of the scripts. So in this, I will use this repository to create my pipeline in Azure DevOps. Let me go to Azure DevOps. Here I will create the new pipeline. To use your GitHub YAML file or keep your pipeline in GitHub, you can always come here and select the where is your code as GitHub. Okay, you can also use GitHub Enterprise Server if you have it. If not, if you want to use just the GitHub Cloud, you can just directly select the GitHub here. Okay, once you selected GitHub, if you are logging in for the first time, then it will open a pop-up, or in different window it will ask you to log in to your GitHub account. Okay, since I have already logged in, it is just giving me the repository list where I have in this project. Okay, if I go back here at home, you can see I have two repository here at the left side. That's why it is giving the two repositories. Okay, so if you are just clicked on GitHub and for the first time you will have to log in with your GitHub account, then only you will get all the repository here. Okay, select the repository which you want to build or where you want to keep your Azure DevOps YAML pipeline. Okay, so this is my repository. Here I will select it. Okay, once you have selected, it will Azure pipeline will check you will read your GitHub repository, and if that is related to suppose Java, it will suggest you Maven task or Gradle. If you have .NET, it will suggest you to add .NET CLI task to build your application. Okay, since I have PowerShell script, it is just giving the starter pipeline option. So let me open the starter pipeline, and here this is the basic pipeline. I will just click on save and run, and we'll see how this has created a YAML pipeline in Azure DevOps as well as my GitHub repository. Okay, let me click on save and run. So this is just a simple pipeline. If you want to change something or if you have some requirement to add inside your pipeline, you can always come and do that here. Okay, let me click on save and run. So once I save it, this file will be committed to my GitHub repository. This is running. Okay, if you see here, if you open it, This is the repository name, this is the branch name, and this is the commit ID. If you click on commit ID, it will show you the commit inside your GitHub repository. Okay, basically it will redirect you to the GitHub. Same is the case with the branch. If you select the master branch, it will just redirect you to the GitHub repository. And if you just click on repository, again it will take you to the repository in GitHub. So that's why this pipeline is connected with the GitHub repository. If you open it, you can see the logs and everything, and all the tasks are successfully running, which we have defined in the pipeline. If you refresh this page of the repository, you'll see one file just committed 1 minute ago. Okay, that is nothing but Azure pipelines.yaml, and this is just the YAML of the pipeline which we just have created with this name. Okay, Azure pipeline is storing the YAML file of this pipeline inside the GitHub. Okay, and since trigger is set to master, if we change anything in this master branch, this pipeline should automatically trigger. Okay, so this is nothing but continuous integration. Let me commit it, click on edit, and do something. Let me remove this. Okay, and commit it. Once I commit the change, just observe here, refresh this page, and you can see one of the release has been created already. And if you see the commit ID, the commit message says is this one which we just had given. And here in the commit ID, you can see we have removed this what the change is showing. Okay, so it has now automatically triggered because we have enabled the triggers in this pipeline, which is nothing but continuous integration. So we have kept our pipeline in GitHub and code, and now we can build this code using Azure pipeline, and even we can create a continuous deployment or delivery pipeline to deploy the same code into the cloud environment or somewhere else like Azure, AWS, or anywhere. This is how we can integrate GitHub with Azure pipeline. We have some of the other tasks as well in Azure pipeline using GitHub. So if you just click on here and type GitHub, you see few of the options here for the GitHub, like download GitHub npm package. If you have some npm packages in GitHub, you can use this task to do the same. Same is the case with Nugget packages basically, and you can do that as well. If you have created a GitHub release in a repository, you can use this task to download it, and you can use this task to write a command to your GitHub entity or pull request. And you can use this GitHub release task to create, edit, or delete a GitHub release in a repository. Okay, so these are few of the options you generally get. If these all are not matching your requirement, then you can always use the REST APIs, and you can do whatever you want using the REST APIs. Okay, so let me just add one here, GitHub release. So to communicate with GitHub or The pipeline, how this pipeline should actually communicate with your GitHub account. For that, we need to create a GitHub connection. Okay, for that, you can click on project setting, go here in the service connections, new service connection, and type GitHub here. Once you type it, you get two options, GitHub and GitHub Enterprise Service. So we are using GitHub. You will select it and click on next. You'll have to specify the auth configuration if you authorize it, or you can also use personal access token. You can generate the path inside GitHub and you can paste this token in here and create the service connection. Okay, and you can just directly authorize it and create the service connection. I already have authorized it, that's why it is not giving me option. You, if you are creating for the first time, you will get the option and you will have to log in with your GitHub account. Now you can provide the service connection, add the description, and create a new service connection. I already have created this GitHub service connection for my account. You can click on edit and see everything. I have selected auth configuration as Azure pipelines, giving the service connection name and granted access permission to all the pipelines. This is my repository name. Okay, so it will come something like this. Now you can use this service connection inside your pipeline. This is my GitHub connection which we just have created here. You will have to select your GitHub service connection here. You will have to provide the repository name. Okay, so this is my repository name. What should be the action if what you want to do? If you want to create the release, you can create, edit, and delete. Okay, you will have to specify some of the options like target, git tag, tag source. You will have to add the tag pattern, release title, as well as all these things. Okay, if you are familiar to GitHub, you might know all of this. Okay, once this is done, you can always add this task. So the task, another task for GitHub release will be added here. Okay, so this my YAML pipeline is inside GitHub and I am also making the changes for GitHub. Let me click on save. So see, I am editing this pipeline here in my Azure DevOps, but this will also edit it inside your GitHub repository. Let me refresh the page and see the changes which we made is reflecting here or not. Okay, it's reflecting. You can see this is the code base for GitHub release at 1 which we just added. It now is now coming here. If you are doing it for the first time, again it will ask you to authorize it. You will have to click on authorize, then you will be able to make the changes in your GitHub repository directly from the Azure pipelines. Okay, so this is how we can integrate GitHub and use different things in GitHub like creating the release, adding the comments in issues or pull request, and do other stuff. Okay, so basically you can use this method to build your code which you might have kept in GitHub. Here I have added the sample script just to show you how we can add that. You can add, if you have .NET project, you can add the task which uh, can be used to build the .NET, or if you have some Java project, you can use the Maven or Gradle task to build your code here. Once that is built, you can zip, or you can just directly push the uh, package to any of the Maven repository or maybe Nexus repository or maybe in Azure pipelines. From there, you can download the package and deploy it in different environment. Okay, that can be Azure, AWS, GCP, or even your own premises. Okay, so that's it from this video. We have seen how we can integrate or use GitHub in Azure DevOps. If you liked it, please like and subscribe my channel. If you are if you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.